So this question is an invitation. Who are you becoming this year? And in order to truly answer this question, you will have to tune into your soul, because it is the soul that has everything planned for us from the time we were born to when we leave. The soul came here to have a specific journey, experiences, adventure. Hello, hello, lovelies. Welcome to this week's Sovereign Goddess podcast. Welcome. If this is the first time that you've popped in here or this episode called you in, I want to welcome you and introduce myself. My name is Abigail Mensah Bonsu. I am a divine oracle, a divine teacher, goddess activator. I am an intuitive. I am an empath. I'm also a mother. And this is something that I just love doing weekly, to share good information that can help you step more into your power, activate your voice, feel more of you, and feel the good that you are in life, and that you bring in life, and also that you receive. So welcome. For those of you who don't know, again, find a link below. I do have my free online membership. So if you would like to be in a space with me where you get to share your experience, especially after listening to my podcast, if you want to come into that sacred space to share what came up, ask any questions, go ahead and come join us. I would love to have you join us. So today, I wanted to share with you a process that this is one of the pillars of Goddess Unleashed, my 1 year Goddess embodiment program. And this is one of the first things that we do when we step into a new year. And as I was moving through all the topics that I wanted to talk about this year, right? And I do it month by month, I realized that this would be very potent. So it also flows beautifully with all the previous activations and meditations that I've brought through the past podcast. So today, the topic is called Who Are You Becoming? So, who are you becoming? And with this question, I invite you to, we're halfway in the year already. We're in June. I mean, can you believe that? Most people move through the year barely trying to figure out what it is they're supposed to do, and they just kind of flow with the year, like it's whatever happens, whatever happens. And there are also those who are very intentional about how they want the year to be, and they work on those intentions that are aligned with themselves and their soul. This is where I'm taking you. I'm moving you from being the tumbleweed being blown by the wind of this year to being an oak tree fully anchored in who you really are, knowing the direction of what your soul is asking from you this year, which changes year by year. Now, I could guide you guys to kind of get the bigger picture, but it would probably overwhelm you. So this is why I do it year by year. We can even bring it all the way to month by month, which we do that in Goddess Unleash as well, to really help each woman embody more of who they are. So this question is an invitation. Who are you becoming this year? And in order to truly answer this question, you will have to tune into your soul, because it is the soul that has everything planned for us from the time we were born to when we leave. The soul came here to have a specific journey, experiences, adventure. Let's just put it that way. The soul is here to have an adventure, right? And then it's through our human form that we get to have these experiences. So yes, we might dream about, intend and wish and all of that. But if you're not in tune with what your soul wants you to become, like what the lesson your soul has in store for you this year, you're missing out a lot. And also, why don't you know it? So if you're here, if you are drawn to this podcast, then you are ready. You are ready to tap into this information to make this next half of the year the most impactful, the most fulfilling you've ever had. Are you with me? I teach this year after year after year, and it never gets old. This is something that I've been doing personally for more than a decade, and I do it each year. At the beginning of the year, I ask myself, who am I becoming? I ask myself, my heart, my soul. I go into meditation and I say, who am I becoming this year? And I have tools that I use to even, make that energy more specific for me. And I'll talk a little bit about that. So, before we even get into more details, just go ahead and place your hand on your heart. Take a couple of deep breaths in to just center you and bring you into this presence. And I just want to extend gratitude for you being here, gratitude for you opening up to receiving these teachings. This is your sacred moment to pause, to feel, and to remember. Take a deep breath in and out. And when you're ready, open your eyes. There's a lot going on in this world, and it's very easy to get lost in all the chaos that is going on in the world if you don't know what is your purpose in this time. If you don't know you, if you don't know you, if you don't understand why you're here, if you don't understand how your very presence, your purpose, your passion, your joy, how that is important in the world, then it's so easy to be swept up by other powerful energies that are swirling around us here. I mean, this year has been very potent in terms of all the planetary big changes. For example, Jupiter just changed signs into Cancer, and Jupiter changes signs every 12 years. Now, Jupiter being a very delicious planet, it's like full of good energy. Okay, it's one of the planets that is here to support us, more support us than to challenge us, right? And it's the planet of expansion. And this planet steps into Cancer, which is the sign of nurturing, the great mother. Like, yes, expansion of that. We need more of that. Oh my God, look around the world. We need to be enveloped in that nurturing of the cosmic mother, of the divine mother in every way. And we also need to fill up ourselves with that. So this big energy swirling. And there are energies that are, like Pluto, which early in the year that shift happened, that is really helping us to dig deep and create those lasting changes. There's Saturn also doing this, is the great teacher teaching us about structure and discipline and, like balancing karmic stuff, like this big stuff going on. How do you flow with these energies? Where are your roots? Where do you begin, and do those energies begin, or are you just all mixed up? Which is what I was talking about, the tumbleweeds. Are you just being blown away by all the cosmic energy force blowing around, or are you fully anchored? I know who I am. I know what this year is about for me. So when I ask the question, who are you becoming? You might look at it as, who am I becoming right now? Who am I becoming this month? Who am I becoming this year? Or if you want to even make it more expansive, who am I becoming in this life? But we're gonna bring it to, who am I becoming this year? And then if you want to play around with the other ones, please do so. But I want you to focus on one. Think of bite sizes. If you can really take one and dive into it, like that's going to expand into the bigger concepts. So perhaps for you right now, your capacity can only take, who am I becoming right now? Or maybe it's this week, or maybe this month. But if you can move forward, make it bigger, then who am I becoming this year? Actually, I want everyone to do, who am I becoming this year? To give you direction through this year. This year is just so powerful that you need your roots deep into your truth, into your core. So, This is a process that I do at the beginning of the year, which sets the tone for my entire year. Regardless of what happens, regardless of what challenges comes in, I know what the year is for me. I know who I'm becoming. So at the end of the year, I know who I will be, or the concept of who I will be, right? I have a direction. It becomes my North Star that guides me. And with that question, it comes with all the support that I need to become that. Now, here's the thing, whether you do this exercise or not, your soul still has a plan for you. So it's still doing its thing. It might not be as with ease. That journey might not be as with ease as if you were in tuned and conscious about what your soul is telling you, right? And so this is why I'm bringing this in. So I'm gonna share my experience. So this year, I told you that I do this every year. This year, I'm becoming the Empress, and actually, last year, I was also becoming the Empress. At the end of last year, I had a feeling I wasn't done with the energy of the Empress, and it wasn't a surprise that this year started, and I was like, oh, there she is again. We're continuing. And for those of you who are not familiar with the Empress is part of the major arcana in the tarot, which I can talk about that later. But that's one of the tools that I use to condense the energy so I can see it. I can keep it on my altar, right? You can use, well, we'll talk about that later. I don't want you to get lost. Right. So some of the concept or the essence of the Empress is abundance, creation, nurturing, sovereignty, and embodiment. For me, this part embodiment is like highlighted. It was highlighted last year and is continuing this year with the embodiment. I can see that in all the aspects, all the in the challenges and the lessons and the blessings, all leading me to embody more of my essence, right? It's quite beautiful when you get this. So the Empress, what I realize about her, and here's the thing, when you recognize that, oh, I'm becoming this year, it doesn't mean that you have all the answers. Like, I know a lot of, for example, the major arcana, so whichever card comes, I kind of have an idea of the flavor of the card, but I never know how it's going to how the fruit is going to be, right? Because it's about the journey and everything in between that leads you to that. So I always have an idea of, oh, okay, definitely, Empress. I look at the card, I look at the symbols, I look at the colors on there, and I tune in. What do I feel? What is coming up? So embodiment was a huge piece. Another huge piece was creativity. That was actually one of the first ones that popped in. I was like, creativity, which has continued this year since last year. Actually, since the last 3 years, I feel like it's been this energy of artistically and creatively expressing myself. Like, it has been just potent, it's been growing more intense, and tuning into the root of that, knowing that it's always been there, and actually consciously choosing to honor my creative process, however way it wants to show up, right? So one of the things I'm noticing this year so far, again, we're mid-year, right? So far, the Empress, me becoming the Empress, I've noticed that I'm fine-tuning and refining my presence and magnetism. I am refining and fine-tuning my presence, which is when I show up. Like, my presence is huge for me. It's part of my soul work. When I enter a room, my energy does the work. It clears the room, it blesses the room, it activates before I even open my mouth. My presence is very important when it comes to my work. So I'm seeing this fine tuning happening, and also understanding, through the Empress, my magnetism. What am I attracting to myself? Do I want to attract that? And what am I attracting that I don't want? And how can I shift that? But also, I found myself being connected to the past where, the part of me, inner child, who holds the key to my magnetism, and going back to those times and seeing how magnetic I was and what I did back then, right? So it's been like this beautiful journey of remembering and also fine tuning and, removing and replanting, right? It's working a lot on my energy, which we know magnetism is part of the divine feminine essence. That it's a big pillar in the divine feminine essence, right? Another one, I talked about this. I've noticed the amplification of my artistic, creative expressions. And I'm doing this through Neurographica. I actually joined it's what is a membership called Creative Soul Society. And we just meet up and we choose a topic and we use our color pencils and crayons and like all the artistic tools, and we manifest our feelings on paper, we bring it to life, we create what it is that we want to call into our life using this, which is also divine feminine, right? Our creative expression is rooted in the divine feminine essence. Again, connecting me back to the divine, the empress, which is like the embodiment of the divine feminine. The Empress represents the embodiment, the full embodiment of the divine feminine energy. Right. So it makes a lot of sense, like all of this, coming in. One thing I've also noticed is I'm noticing like I'm honoring, craving, and appreciating the expression of beauty in my life. The express. So when I take a walk and I see all the wildflowers, I find myself just drinking it up, taking it up. When I see someone's artistic expression, that truly appreciating that beauty that has blessed me, right? I look around me and I not only see, I also feel the beauty that surrounds me. And it's actually very interesting because for me, it is about appreciating the beauty around me rather than the beauty within me. So it's telling me that at least I've done some work inside. So now the focus is on the outside, which I'm like, phew. Right. But these are some of the points that are coming up for me as I journey on this path of becoming the Empress, of deepening into my becoming of the Empress, because this started last year. Right. So we'll talk more about some of the tools that you can use to even help you get clear answers on this. But before we do that, I want to walk you through the process because I feel that we're already in the energy. I want you to grab your journals because I'm going to walk you through some prompts, your pen, your journal, and then just be present with me for this time. If you're not able to, let's say you're working and listening to me or you're doing other thing, come back and listen to this part and actually move through the process with me. Trust me, you will thank yourself for it, right? So go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and out, and I want you to just move into your heart. So bring your awareness. So imagine you have this ball of light right at the center of your head. It can be any color. I'm seeing this light blue. Imagine this light blue ball of light begin to drop down with your breath. It drops all the way down into your heart. And within your heart is this beautiful flower that's opened up. And the ball just lands right at the center of this opened up flower. And the flower just closes around it. The flower represents your heart, and the ball of light represents your mind. It's just given a home for your mind so that you can be fully present with this experience. And every time I do this, it feels like your mind is like, I'm home. I can just rest, right? Because the mind and the heart, they need to work together. They want to be here. They want to be in this state of harmony. So this is a beautiful exercise that you can do every day, especially when you feel like your mind is like just racing everywhere. Take some time, take a deep breath in, identify that ball of light, drop it down into your heart, see that flower, let it go into the center, let it wrap around it, and just hold it. And from there, you just see this beautiful radiance that pulsates around it. And just breathe into this space. Your heart is fully activated. I'm going to call in your higher self to be fully present with you. I'm going to call in all your divine team of light to come in and surround you in the golden circle. There you go. So you're fully supported. It is safe for you to move through this process. Beautiful. So first I'm going to walk you through it, and then when the time comes for you to write it down, I will prompt you to do that. Okay, so keep breathing and out. Now imagine that light within your heart grows brighter and brighter and brighter. And as it's growing brighter, I'm just going to drop in this. I'm going to ask the version of you who has lived this year fully to step forward. So the light gets really bright and then it comes back to normal. And as it does, that version of you appears in front of you. And at this time, I just want you to just pause and take in what you're seeing, okay? So there she is standing in front of you, radiant, wise, grounded in her purpose, powerful. How does she feel like? How does she look like? Is she smiling? Is she crying? Is she frowning? Like, take notice of her facial expression. What is she wearing? How is she is she standing or sitting? Just take all of that. What color of clothing is she wearing? Because all of that gives us clues on what your year is about. So just take that in and keep breathing. Now, go ahead and say hello. Initiate the communication between you and this version of yourself. This version of yourself is at the end of this year, so December 31st. You're talking to yourself in the future. So from here, go ahead and ask her, who are you? And listen. And if you need to pause the video so that you can move through this process in your own pace, please feel free to do so. So ask her, who are you? And receive what comes through. Next, go ahead and ask her, what did you let go of? What did you let go of this year? Listen. What did you choose instead this year? What did you choose instead this year? And how do you feel in your body, your work, and your relationships? Ask her, how do you feel in your body, your work, and your relationships? Listen. Beautiful. Now take a deep breath in. Thank her for coming. Is there any other questions you would like to ask her? Another question that you could ask is, where should I place my energy this year? What should I focus on? What do I need to do more of this year? Beautiful. Again, feel free to pause the video if you have more questions for her. But once you feel complete, go ahead and thank her heart to heart. You can give her a hug. That's totally okay. And let her know you see her soon, because once you have this connection, you can always come back. She is part of your council. You can always come back. You can bring her in and have a chat with her to help you through the rest of the year. So again, notice that the light in your heart gets brighter again, engulfing all of you. And then when it comes back to normal, is she's gone for now. And now you're back to you. Take a deep breath in and out. Pull in all that you received into the here and now. When you're ready, open your eyes. Keep staying in the energy. Pick up your journal and your pen and go ahead and write it all down. All that you received, write it all down. Let it be a transmission for you, something that you can come back to guide you through the rest of the year. Beautiful. So I wanted to share with you more, there's more journal prompts, especially now that you're writing. These beginning questions are beautiful. You can start with that. And then here is more, who am I becoming this year? Number one, right? That's the title of the podcast. Who am I becoming this year? Write everything that comes to mind. You can also call in yourself, your future self, and ask this question, and she will tell you too. What qualities does she embody? So again, your future self, what are some qualities? Remember I told you to take notice of how she shows up, what she's wearing, how she's feeling, all of that. Write it all down. And what does she no longer tolerate? What does she no longer tolerate? Again, this is a question you can call her back out and ask her, and she will tell you. What is she calling in? Bringing a little bit of magnetism here, right? What is she calling in, and how does she show up for it? You can ask her, or since the connection is already there, you can actually feel it and just write it down. The first thing that comes to mind, write it down. What is one thing you can do today to honor her becoming? What is one thing you can do today to honor her becoming? So, like that, the merging of the future and the present. Here's the thing, she already lives within you. She's already here, right? The one you are becoming is not far away. She is you, you are her. You don't need to do anything special to have this connection. It just simply is. So don't make it complicated. And she's simply waiting for you to say yes. Yes to her working with you. Yes to the invitations she sends you. Yes to the messages she sends you, the guidance, the blessing, all of it. That's all you got to do. So I talked a little bit about some of the tools that you can use. So I talked to at the beginning that for me, I use the major arcana in the tarot. Now, I know a lot of people are not comfortable with the tarot, and I think it's because of all the stigma around the tarot. The way I use the tarot, and actually I think this is what the tarot was created for before it got tainted with all of that stuff around it, right? Whoever created the tarot created it so that we can remember who we are. That's the main basis of the tarot. Like, I feel like I need to do an episode on the tarot, the wisdom of the tarot, right? The major arcanas represent us, me. So that's why I use the major arcanas to actually, pull who I'm becoming this year. So you can, if you have the tarot, separate the majors from the minor. The minor actually breaks down to the suits, which is the swords, the cups, the pentacles, and the wands. The swords are about your mind. They're telling you about your mind. The cups represent your heart, your emotions. The pentacles represents your body and your physical reality. The wands represents your spiritual connection, your spirituality. That entire thing is about you. So when you next time, if you've been afraid of the tarot, I usually tell people this is, some people steer away from working with the tarot because it is deep. And I'm like, yeah, it is deep because it's telling you about you. And you might not be ready to hear about that, right? A lot of people are not, and that's okay, right? But I love it because of that. When I'm using the tarot, I know that I'm connecting to me. I'm not connecting to whatever else. I'm not using my tarot to connect to so and so over there or whatever. The tarot was created so that we can remember who we are. So perhaps with this image, if you have a tarot, use this and go back and shuffle it. Like, I remember who I am. Shuffle it with that mantra. I remember who I am. Infuse it with the essence. You can even go into your heart and that light, let it expand and just engulfs the tarot deck. And just say, I remember who I am. Reset it and then begin to use it and see what happens. So again, you will separate the minors from the major. And then with the majors, you're going to shuffle it. And then you're going to ask the question, who am I becoming this year? And then pull the card. Trust whatever comes through. I'm telling you, I know there's some cards in there that might look scary. They're not scary. Again, I think I need to do an episode on the wisdom of the tarot. I go into more detail in my Goddess Unleashed program. It is part of that journey and understanding what each of those cards mean for us, right? Because the Empress for me will be completely a different experience for you if you receive the Empress too. There's other, I mean, we're different souls, we have different journeys, we have different gifts, right? It's very unique to the person, right? So whatever you choose, instead of going into fear, I want you to move into curiosity. What is this card about? And then if you're doing research on the cards, for example, looking up the Empress, I don't want you to attach to everything that the internet says about the Empress. As you're reading about it, notice the keywords that pop out at you. They're the ones that are in alignment with you. So as you're reading, not everything is going to apply to you. As you're reading, maybe the word embodiment, you're like, woo, yeah, that one feels good, right? Or creative expression, you're like, oh my God, yes. Leadership, oh my gosh, yes, right? So pay attention to the words that pop out at you and then write those down. That's the best way. Another best way is to just look at the card. And this is what I teach the women in my Goddess Unleashed program. You look at the card and allow the card to tell you a story. The card is aligned with you. It is showing, it's a mirror that is showing you you. I want you to remember that. It's not reflecting anything in your environment. It's not even reflecting your children. It's you. It's reflecting you. So be curious about that. It's showing you something about you. And just look at it. Let the card tell you a story. Look at the colors, just like I walked you through the process early. Look at the colors in the card, the symbolism in the card. How is it making you feel? What are some words that might be popping in your mind as you look at it? All of that, right? Stay with it. Experience the card before you go looking for the definitions or the internet expressions of the card, right? Spend some time with the card first. You can also, if you're like, I cannot do tarot for us, whatever reason, then if you have like any oracle deck, especially the ones that you resonate with the most, grab that again, shuffle it, and then ask the question, who am I becoming this year? And then pull it. And then again, the same process. Be curious about it. What is it? What am I seeing? What am I feeling? What does the color mean to me? Like all of that. Let the card tell you the story. But if you really want to go deep, I invite you to work with the tarot, the major arcanas. And if you have any questions about that, please find me. Actually, come join my free membership group. And then there's a question section in there. Just put your question in there and then I'll come in and answer it. So whatever card you pull, if you're like, can you, tell me more about this card, or this is how I'm feeling about this card. Is this right? Like you can come in there and ask and I can guide you through that. Okay. So I hope to see you in the membership. All right, my dear, there was a lot. I feel like this just the tip of the iceberg. This is what I teach a lot in my Goddess Unleashed and even in my Elevated Empath membership group. So if you love what I am teaching, if you love my energy and you would like to work with me, you can join my Goddess Unleashed, the path of divine feminine embodiment within you, or my Elevated Empath, which is teaching you the tools to be the powerful being, the confident being, gifted being that you are, and understanding how your gift plays in the world, right? It's beautiful. So we can work in those ways. Okay, take a deep breath and out. Until next time, you have a fabulous week. Make sure to share this episode with whoever you know it will benefit. Share this with your friends, with your group, on your social media. Help me spread the word. Thank you so much for your support, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.